Hey guys, how you going? This is BillyEatWorld again, and in today's video we're actually going to take a look at some of the new maps that are going to be coming to Battlefield 5 this year. Because today a brand new roadmap for Tides of War has come out, and that's given us a few details on what's going to be coming in chapters 3, 4 and 5. Now, along with the new maps, we're also going to be getting presumably a bunch of new gear to go along with the factions that fought on those battlefields. And so that's what we're going to get into today. What do we know for sure is coming, what's been hinted at, and most importantly, I want you guys to let me know in the comments what you want to see this year. Alright, so to kick off, the first thing you guys need to know is that Chapter 3 of Tides of War, called Trial by Fire, is officially kicking off this week, with the challenges starting on the 28th of March. And the first part of the chapter is obviously going to be mostly based around the Firestorm Battle Royale mode, which launches in just a few days, a little bit before the challenges on the 25th of March. Now, obviously, this features the brand new Halvoy map, which at this point looks like it is only going to be dedicated to Firestorm itself. But with that being said, DICE do seem like they are committed to supporting Firestorm into the future, so who knows, maybe we might see some other more traditional game modes set on Halvoy someday in the future as well. Now, in the second part of Chapter 3, which will last until June, what we're going to be seeing is some maps that are set in the Greek theatre of operations. And so what I'd expect to see in this chapter in terms of factions is probably a lot more focus on Italian outfits and gear on the Axis side, and hopefully also some Greek stuff on the Allied side as well. As for the maps themselves, well, unfortunately at this point it does only look like we're going to get one additional regular map sometime in May, which is apparently going to be called Mercury after Operation Mercury. But in saying that, it should be pretty interesting because this was the German invasion of the island of Crete, so expect to see lots of paratroopers because this was actually one of the first large-scale airborne invasions in World War II. Now, moving on into June, and coming up to EA Play 2019, we're going to continue to see content from the Greek theatre in Tides of War Chapter 4, Defying the Odds. And this one should be pretty interesting as well, because it's going to focus on some more close quarters maps and modes, which many people are already speculating might mean that competitive is coming back to BF5. Moving on, we can see sometime in this chapter we are definitely going to be getting a map called Merida, which is, I think, a reference to the German invasion of mainland Greece. And as you can see at the end of the row, we're apparently also going to be getting an urban combat map, which at this point is still secret and doesn't have a name, but in saying that, we can probably assume that it will still be in the Balkans region somewhere. Also, and I don't want to read into this too much, but in the official Reddit post for the roadmap, the last secret map we just spoke about is apparently going to be something that Battlefield veterans will enjoy. So many people are already saying that maybe means that it could be inspired by or a remake of an old Battlefield map. So if you guys have got any ideas on what it might be, make sure you leave them down below. Also, another thing I should mention, which once again I don't want to read into much either, is that the first image in that row looks like a British soldier with a red beret. And what we do know is that the red beret is actually a colour worn by the British Parachute Regiment, so maybe we can, from that, expect to see some more British paratrooper gear in Chapter 4 as well. Alright, so to finish up, the very last row on the roadmap that we can see is for Chapter 5, and it's also the one which gives us the least amount of information. But in saying that, what we do know for sure is that it is going to be coming sometime in fall 2019, so basically around September, and it is going to feature a brand new theatre of war. Now, here's where things get a bit complicated, because apparently this chapter is going to be called Awakening the Giant, which gives us quite a bit of info. But the question is, which giant are DICE talking about? Because it could be the USA, who were woken up by Japan at the Battle of Pearl Harbor, or the USSR, who were woken up by the Germans in Operation Barbarossa. Now, both of these events happened historically within months of each other in 1941, so I mean, technically DICE could probably go in either direction and still keep Tides of War chronological. But with that being said though, most people are thinking that we are probably going to end up seeing the Pacific Theatre first because of the reference to Awakening the Giant. Now, the reason for this is because there's actually a famous quote attributed to the Japanese Admiral Yamamoto, who apparently said after the Pearl Harbor attack that he feared they'd awoken a sleeping giant. But if that doesn't already convince you, well, that's not the only hint we got from that row, because another thing that Flakfire figured out was that the blurred out image underneath is actually in the Art of Battlefield 5 book, and it features an aircraft carrier and what looks like a Japanese Zero fighter plane. But anyway, guys, that just about wraps up this video. So as always, make sure you let me know what you think of this new Battlefield 5 roadmap. And obviously, even after everything we've said in this video, just remember that a lot of what we've talked about has been speculation. So as credible as some of it might seem, please don't take it to the bank just yet. We'll have confirmation probably in the next few months. As always, though, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and please feel free to check out the links in the description if you want to see any more of these videos. And don't forget, you can also find my Twitter and Discord links down there as well if you want to keep in touch. And as always, until next time, see you later, and have a good one.